Okay, I finally got this. Finally got that lower unit on, and so far so good. I've got, I can turn the flywheel, and you can see the propeller moving in the direction, based on what gear it is, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm glad for that. So at this point, I'm cleaning out the boat, and I'm going to now install the steering cable, and the gear and throttle cables, and get them hooked up so that as I test things out on this motor, I'll have control of it from up here. Okay, to do a little catch up, I've got my throttle and gear cables hooked up. I've got the steering cable hooked in to the near the console up here, but I'm finding out that the column here that it goes to doesn't have the quick connect. So I've ordered a new rotary column, and I'll get it in, and then that way I can connect this in and get the steering cable going. Okay, you might have noticed when I had that motor running, it didn't quite sound like it was running on both cylinders, and I found out that it wasn't. What I haven't been able to tell you yet is that the lower spark plug on this motor has been tapped out, and the old spark plug on it had a one of these things here. It's kind of an adapter to where when the hole was tapped out a little bigger, then you can screw your spark plug into this and then put it into the motor again. Well, it took me forever to get one of these, and so I haven't messed with it. So when you heard that engine running, it was running. I finally checked it and found out that that cylinder wasn't firing. What I did was, while it was running later, I unplugged that spark plug and didn't get any change, and then plugged it back in, and then unplugged the upper spark plug, and it died immediately. So since then, I have ordered these and finally got these in and put one on it. And I haven't had a chance to check it yet, and that'll be in a future video. Okay, I've got this little hole, underneath the, near the bottom there. I mean, it's on the bottom. And I'm gonna take and yank this all off and smooth that down, and go about start filling that in with some putty and stuff. And then I'm gonna have to sand it down all around these edges good, and then I'm gonna start layering in some fiberglass. As for sanding on this fiberglass, I don't want to take any chances of breathing any of that or getting it in my eyes, so I'm going to be using a mask and goggles. Okay, I want to make sure y'all know that I'm not claiming to be a professional at this. I have used fiberglass when I built my other boat, that first boat I made out of plywood, and everything went well with it. But this is a little bit different project. It's more of a repair. So this is the way I'm going to do it. I've done a little research on YouTube, and I've chosen this way to do it because I'm not that particular. I just want it to, stop the leak as water much as possible. Okay, what I'm going to do is take this body filler. It doesn't really say anywhere that it's designed for boats, but I'm going to take it mainly just to fill in the big part of the hole, to fill in this hole and kind of shape it. And then I'll let that set up. I'll sand it down some, and then I'll start looking at layering over with my with different size layers of the fiberglass. Okay, I'm going to show you where I'm at to date on this boat. If you'll remember, I got my lower unit gears in again, and I believe they're working. I haven't had a chance to test that in water yet. Got my motor, I think, ready to go. I put the new spark plug in the bottom, so I haven't tried to run it yet with that, and then that'll be in the next video. Since some of that, the last time I have pulled out all the carpet, and of course I got my all my cables installed and everything, and I want to show you some dry rot that's in it and how I'm going to deal with that. Okay, down here you can see kind of in the middle, I've pulled out a good chunk of the this top layer of fiberglass, and I've kind of done it all the way up the center there, and I found all up in the area here it was all dry. It's all dry. Any areas down in here was dried out. There was a little bit of wetness in this area in here, so I've let it spend several days with a fan on it, opened up, and I pulled out some of this styrofoam that fills that in, and I'm going to be cleaning that out, and I think it's pretty much dried out. And so when I put my new flooring over it, I'm going to go ahead and use some pressure treated wood for that. But I'm going to end up probably taking a bunch of resin and really mopping down this board, so that, my top board, before I put my carpet, because what I'm going to try to do is keep this area as dry as I can, everything. So I'll probably seal it up around the edges before I put the carpet in. So I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm want to start getting to doing the cosmetics. Before I do any more of the cosmetic work, I'm going to get this motor, make sure the motor's running. I'm going to have all my cables and things hooked up, and I'll put it in that barrel, a barrel of water. And I'm going to test it. I'm going to see if it runs good. I'm going to see if my gears change and all that. And if that happens, I'm going to be taking this to the lake and seeing about taking it for a run. Now, if that comes out okay, the next step that I'll be doing is stripping this boat completely. I'm going to take the motor off of it, pull all the cables off of it again, all the electronics, and get it so that I can turn it over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this boat out of the garage and clean this all up, and I'm going to bring in some horses, and I'm going to get some buddies, and we're going to take this boat and we're going to flip it over on to some horses over here, so that I can start sanding and painting the bottom. While that's happening, I'm going to start doing some work on this trailer. I'm going to get the new running boards and carpeted, and probably go ahead. I need to weld. I don't know if it's, yeah, this side right here. This needs to be welded down, and then I'm going to kind of sand it all down, and I'm going to go ahead and paint it along while I'm painting the boat over here. Once that process is done, then I'm going to pull the boat back over on top of the trailer, and then I'm going to start putting the flooring in and start building the decks. What I've spent additional from the first time, the first video you saw where I had $512 into it. Since I had to get the rotary steering thing that pulls up, that does the steering cable, that cost me $78, so that's pushing me to the $600 mark. Now, of course, I did buy, I think I spent $8 or $10 on those spark plug parts, so I'm roughly around $610 into it. and I'll keep you I'll keep track of it from here and make sure you know what's going on and how much it's costing.